You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com, broadcasting from the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower right here in Northport, Florida. I've got a really cool show today. I'm very excited about this because we've got Northport High School coaches and Sean Kirkpatrick, the announcer. So, Sean, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing great, John.
Awesome.
I'm
Coach
live
Hill, how are you doing?
here. Yeah, I'm live here at Northport High School. This is the preserve where they have football, soccer, and track and field.
Awesome.
I'm doing great.
Why did we put all this together, Sean?
Well, I reached out to John, all the audience members. He's going to help us out with our big event at the end of July with Teddy Dees, who's a former alumni. He's going to have his own show next week, thanks to John. And we got to talking about, did you need more source material like coaches? And John said, hey, let's do an entire thing on the coaching staff here. We'd never have them on here. And I think that's a fantastic idea. I've been the announcer here off and on in sports for a good dozen years or so, and I've always had a great rapport with all the coaching staff. And my day job now, I go from home to home, and I'm always advertising about come on out, support these coaches, come on out, support these kids. Great program here. And I just love doing it. I'm so glad you're getting a chance to be on your show today.
Awesome. So I'm going to slide into, you're kind of breaking up just a little bit as you're talking,
Okay.
but I'm going to slide into Coach Hill. Coach Hill, you're at a tournament right now, but tell people what you coach and a little bit about what's happening in your sport.
Hi, my name is Eugene Hill. I'm the head wrestling coach at Northport High School, and we have a really good team at Northport. For the last 3 years, we've been the top 10 in the state. 2022, we were the number 7th. I think that we tied the highest finish that a Northport High School wrestling team has ever done. I had my pleasure to coach one of the greatest wrestlers that Northport High School has produced. His name was Dominic Joyce. Dominic Joyce was a 4-time state qualifier. He was a 3-time regional champion, 4-time district champion, 3-time state finalist, and then 2022 state champion. We are losing him this year, and we're also losing Carmichael Gonzalez, but we have a really great group of kids that work with. We travel all around the country all year round trying to make this a better team. And we're really excited about the girls team. Florida, it has now girls wrestling. It's one of the largest fastest growing sports in the country, and we put a lot of emphasis on our boys and our girls. We're in Iowa right now. We're at the University of Iowa, and we just want to get better, and we want to be improving, and we want to make Northport proud.
And Iowa is a pretty strong wrestling area, isn't it?
Yes, this is the motherland. We came out, we brought our girls out here because Iowa was the first Power 5 conference to start a girls wrestling team. So the coach was the former Olympic women's wrestling team. So we want to motivate, not only just want to be better wrestlers, we want to motivate them to see that they can, the world is their oyster. They can have anything they want if they just work hard enough for it.
Fantastic. So talk a little bit about how you keep your program rich in wrestling, because you've attached the youth to the high school program, haven't you?
Yes. We started doing that in the summertime, especially, because I have a daughter who wrestles. She's one of the best girls in Florida. She's 9 years old right now. And when these kids come in and these youth wrestlers come in and they see these, role models, these high school kids, and they really makes them really push harder and work. They can see that they can become successful. And when you got people like Dominic Joyce and Carmichael Gonzalez and all these other great wrestlers coming in, we've got kids that are in college that are coming back to help our kids. I think putting the youth and the high school together, it's really motivated the youth to be better. And then the high school, when you teach, you also become a better wrestler yourself. So we're really excited about our future prospects. We got a lot of good kids in the youth program right now. We got one girl that I'm really high on. She's an 8th grader. Her name is Bailey Beechler. She's an IOF state champion. I really have high hopes on her. And then we've got another really good girl, Solana McCougan, who was a state qualifier this year. And the girls team is going to be on par with the boys team pretty soon.
Fantastic. There's a lot of work that goes into this. How many hours you figure you put into this a week?
Oh, I think It's countless. I mean, we go all over the country. I drove to Iowa here. That was a 23-hour drive. So we're just working hard. I always say, hard work beats talent that doesn't work hard, and that's what these kids are doing, and they want to be successful.
Well, I know you're at a tournament now, and I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to be part of the show. And I look to have you back on the show again in the very near future.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. So, Sean, how are you doing, buddy?
We're doing great. We're actually driving over to the baseball diamond right now.
All right. So, is Paul my next one up?
I believe so. Hang on a second. No, football. Yeah, football coach is up next.
And that is Paul, right?
Belzer.
Is that Garen?
Yes.
All right, I'm pulling him up right now.
Garen's up there. All right.
Garen, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing, sir? Thank you for having me.
It's fantastic to have you on. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what sport you're in, and how creative you are with the program right now.
Again, my name is Garen Belser. I'm the varsity head football coach. Getting ready to go into my third season with the program. I really just want to build off of what Coach Hill said. It's really starting with building to the youth. I think one of the biggest things we've done since taking over is flipping Northport's youth program, the Northport Mustangs, into the Junior Bobcats, which has been unbelievably fruitful for us as a program. It's been the key to actually getting into the community. It's built I don't want to say pipeline, but we're finally starting to have that pride factor built into them. They play their games on Saturdays at the field. And that was one of the biggest challenges, was trying to get them to buy in and want to be a part of it at that level. Bringing on these other youth coaches that have that connection with the community has been beneficial as well. I think at the end of the day, that's really what's going to make this a long-term deal. Because when I took over, I did not want it to be, I was very realistic in the fact that it's not just going to be a 2 to 3 year project. You know,
Well, how important is it? And I know the answer to this, all right, because I've been part of this process before. But how important is it to actually have that connection with the youth program in Northport and the stay-at-home mentality being built in?
Well, I think that's one of the things that the surrounding areas have done very well. And the reason they've been so successful is they've dumped so much of their time, which is really the most valuable thing, into their youth programs. The Port Charlotte Bandits, I mean, they're directly feeding into the Port Charlotte program, the Venice program. I mean, those guys put their time in. And when those kids don't see you ever around them at that age, you can't expect them to want to eventually play for you or the school that is in their area. And the lack of consistency within the program in the previous years, in terms of head coaching turnover, lack of involvement in the community, building connections within the school itself, has been very detrimental. You know, and I think we've worked very hard to flip that, trying to handle everything that's behind the scenes besides the football side of it, which, again, at the end of the day, if you're outside looking in, people look at the win-loss side of things, which you can't blame them. But if you want to turn this into a long-term deal, instead of a flash in the pan, try to be good for 1 year and move on, then we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to change the youth program. We're going to have to be more involved. We get our kids out in the community to participate in community service. That's a long way in doing those things. And I think we've done a pretty good job at that. I'm very fortunate that our administration has brought on a lot of very talented, hardworking coaches to supplement that as well, which I know was an issue in the past, but I don't believe that is a current problem for us, so to say, you know.
And, you know, building the foundation of a newer school, and we have to really be realistic here. We're still a newer school.
Yes,
but building that foundation has been, I think, one block at a time, but bringing in energetic, and I don't want to knock any of the past coaches at all, because they had
no, of course not.
And they were moving mountains back then because they were new. You know, we've got some years in now. We've got some talent there. We also have talent that now is looking at staying home. Does that change as a coach in football? Does that change your perspective of how you're addressing things every day now because more athletes are picking to stay with Northport?
Well, I think that's, again, if you're looking at the core of it all, that was one of the big things that plagued the program in the past. And I'm not going to say it's just a Northport thing because that's something that's reached out to other programs.
Sure.
But I think the biggest thing to counteract that was just, again, the trust. The kids, they may act naive sometimes, but they're very smart. They know if you're full of it or if you're genuinely what you're trying to bring to the table, and I think that we do that very well. We're very honest with the kids. We don't sugarcoat anything. I think we're in a day and age where there's too much sugarcoating, but I think blunt honesty and just showing that you're there to give your time to them without any sort of reciprocation of benefit to us. The biggest benefit is seeing them do well and taking to learning and eventually putting that into something else besides sports or football down the line. But I think those kids buy into what we're doing. They enjoy being around us as coaches and as people. I fortunately have only had, and going into my third year, there's only been 3 student athletes that have gone to different schools for different reasons, and best of luck to them in their endeavors. I would never fault anyone for that because they're trying to make a decision that they believe is best for them, but I think that we are finally becoming a viable option as a correct decision for these kids, and I think they see that with everything that's happening with the program and just so much that's been moving towards benefiting us. It's gone a long way.
So I will leave you with this. I want you to have the very best year possible, but real quick, what is the importance of your program having parents participate, not just to drop and go, but actually participate to help your program flourish?
Well, I think the biggest thing they have to understand is it's not just a after school activity for the kids. It's not an after school program. Just, okay, that eats up more time. I think that was more of an issue my first year or so when I took over the program, was the lack of parent involvement. It was very pocketed to certain parents for particular players. It wasn't exactly a mass group. That's one thing, again, constant improvement we've gotten a lot better at in terms of parent involvement. I don't have to struggle as much to get parents out for a JV concession. It's not much of a worry now. Again, everything works because of people. Everything works because of the people around you. I'm fortunate that I'm not the smartest guy in the room 9 times out of 10 with the people I have around me. I have a lot of very good coaches. I have, again, I call her the HBIC. We say head Bobcat in charge, but Victoria Noyes, she is an absolute hustler for our program. She's really big in community outreach. She helps organize fundraising events for us. She pulls parents into actual active involvement. And when the kids see their parents helping out and being involved, it's contagious. The other parents see it and they want to get involved. I think when a program has that, it's a very firm blessing.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. All these coaches that are doing this today, it's the first time that we've ever done this, and we're going to get better at it. And we're going to try to do it, hopefully every quarter, to try to get more information out to parents and make this something to be proud of. And let me tell you, I'm proud of you for taking on the challenge of head coach, and keep up the good work. Much
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for your time, and go Gators.
God, don't you listen? How about that?
Hey, I remember Ohio State, man. You're the big dog down here with Ohio State. I don't forget that.
Oh man, I appreciate that though. You know what? It's all in jabs and fun, so it's all good.
Oh, of course.
It's a lot of fun to have that camaraderie back and forth too. So
it keeps it active, man. That's the whole part of being the sports side of things. It's fun.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being part of the show, and we'll definitely have you back on.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. So we've got Sean back out at a different location. Let's see if he's cut down on the wind.
Let's see how I sound now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're still breaking up a little bit, but that's okay.
Hey, before we get any further, I got to do one thing real quick, guys. At our tournament at the end of the month, we're going to have the Suncoast. I don't know if you can see this now. We're going to have a blood drive from 2 to 7, the last Saturday of the month, as part of Teddy Dees' tournament we're doing for Kurt Allen's Memorial Fund. We've never had a blood drive before. I'm looking for all the coaches to spread the word. It will count for the students' blood. They have a little tassel program. You do 3 donations in a year. It will count towards that. It's the last Saturday in July. It's our first time we're doing a blood drive. 3 basketball games, bounce houses, vendors. We got a whole big old spread for them planned on the last Saturday of July here at Newport High School.
Do me a favor and shoot me over that flyer.
I will.
I'll get it over to the radio station. They'll start announcing it on public announcements.
That's awesome.
And then I'll also post it out there on my pages. So
And I want all the coaches to give me some of their athletes to donate. We need 20 donations. We need 20 donations. That's our number.
Awesome. So who do I have next up?
All right, you're going with Coach Thomas. She got the varsity volleyball program. She does both indoor and the beach program. We have a beach program now in this county area.
Awesome. How you doing there, Coach Thomas?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. So tell us a little bit about what your sport is and where you're at in the year.
Yeah, so I, like you said, I'm head coach for the varsity indoor program and the beach volleyball program. I guess I just completed my second season with beach and going into my second season with indoor. So I'm still getting my feet wet, but very excited this year, especially for indoor. We've been doing some open gyms this summer, just getting ready for the fall, but just looking forward to a great season. Going to have a big group of seniors on the team this year. So that's a blessing and a curse, I guess you could say. But just really excited to get our season started, see this team come together and have a great year.
Awesome. So listen, I didn't even realize we were doing sand volleyball. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And
I hear we're getting courts on campus in the next few years, all the Sarasota County schools. So that'll be awesome.
That's really a trending sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely getting popular.
And it's very popular on the pro level.
Right.
And so there's a lot of there's so many opportunities for athletes now that are being created out there that we didn't have 20, 30 years ago when I was a kid. I guess should be 40 years here, I guess. But the ability for an athlete to get into school, how do you keep your athletes focused on school and the volleyball game itself and to get better there? How do you keep those disciplines intact?
Yeah, so I'm actually really fortunate. This group of girls that are part of the volleyball program are all, very great academically. A couple seasons ago, they were the academic state champions, which is awesome. That was under the previous head coach, so I know she made that a huge priority. That was a really big focus for the team. Again, they're amazing. I don't have to stress about them in the classroom. I know they're doing the right things. They're, being respectful, getting all their stuff done. They take that part of their academics seriously. So again, that's a huge blessing. And then just staying focused on volleyball, a lot of them, they play club in the spring. They're also doing beach. So I see them in fall and spring seasons. And, a lot of that, they're just, like I said, I'm going to have a big group of seniors this year. So I can just sense, obviously there's that urgency, that shift that comes when you're about to be the senior. It's your last time on the court. So, I know that they're very focused. They want to have a great year. They want to work hard. There's not a whole lot that I feel like I have to do because they kind of bring that all to the table on their own.
Fantastic. Well, did we have any highlights that you want to mention within the sports this year? Any athletes that you want to mention?
Like I said, we're going to have a really great group of seniors, I think. Abby Backstrom's been a really strong player for her 4 years with the program. Nevaeh Pryor's a good standout. Tatiana Harker Barnes, Ava Jade Brochart, Anzi Ryan. We've got some good freshmen that I've seen that have come out for our open gym. So, that'll be some promising stuff for the years to come, of course.
So how do you link the youth into volleyball? Is there a youth program for them?
So we don't have, I know the wrestling and football coaches were talking about that, that's awesome. We have a camp that we do in July. Actually, it's the last week of July. So we do have spots open if you have a young kid that wants to do a volleyball camp. But yeah, we have our girls, they kind of run everything. We have a plan, and I just kind of have them run the drills. They help the campers learn stuff. They're interacting with them, which I know the high school girls love, and then the campers love because they're getting to hang out with, the big kids and just playing with them and learning the skills and having fun. So
you're taking that raw talent, you're taking that raw athlete, and you're actually teaching them and getting them to that next level, right?
Yeah. We break down all the skills. We do it very slowly. We integrate, obviously there's all levels that come to these kind of camps. So we really break it down, kind of break them into groups that are appropriate by age and everything, so that everyone's getting something out of the camp. They're learning something new every day. And at the end, we do games and different tournament style things. So it just kind of brings it all together.
Well, fantastic. I appreciate you being part of the show. And I look forward to talking to you again. And I'm sure you're going to do many, many great things. And I look forward to hearing more about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you so much. Hey, so we've got Sean up next. Sean, where are you at now?
We're still the diamond here. The baseball field. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. By the way, volleyball, one of our first starting sports. I think they have a game on August 26th, the very first week of school. So I announced those games as well. So check that calendar. Right off the bat, they're playing.
So Sean, you're just a man of many talents. You're just an announcer everywhere.
Well, my daughter's still a high school student here. I'm not sure what's going to happen when she graduates.
Nice.
I don't know. It's a volunteer spot. I don't know if I'm going to be able.
They'll be keeping you around for a while. Trust me.
Yeah, it's fun. I love doing it. I got the best job of all. No one yells at me. They don't hate me. I'm not a coach or a ref. I get best seats in the house every time, and all the coaches have been great for me. They help us so much. The parents are great.
Fantastic. Yeah. So who do we have up next?
All right, we got swimming coach. Coach Maglicane is up next. Well, I don't announce for because I don't know how to announce.
Who is it, please?
Paul Maglicane.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
There's Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Good. How you doing today? Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. How's swimming been treating you?
Swimming treats me well. I love the sport, no doubt about that. I've been coaching the last few years, the boys team, alongside Coach Leanne Vaca, coaches the girls. It's a building team. The community obviously has been changing. That has a lot to do with that. Northport High School has always had a swim team, but the community hasn't really had a pool. We swam at the old YMCA pool for many years. That pool is not regulation, always ran into issues there. So we're really excited now to be at the Northport Aquatic Center, where we've got everything we need. It's right across the street, and we can have successful practices and training, and we're hosting meets now, which we were never able to do in the past.
Well, I want to talk about that because there's some value in everything that you just said in that package. Having the pool so close to the high school is a definite bonus. Sure. and having the newer facility places for an event like that, you're not just helping the swim team itself, but you're helping the community by having these events there too, because you're drawing a lot of people in to participate in a tournament, aren't you?
Well, sure. We'd like to see that. I mean, absolutely we would. We're hosting 4 meets this year. 3 of those meets are on Saturday mornings, so people should be able to get out to them. We've run into lots of issues with weather in the past, so we're trying to move those meets off the evening schedule when we're often getting thunderstorms to the Saturday. mornings where, the weather patterns tend to be a little bit more favorable for us. I love to think that we're helping the community, but I really think that more than anything, the community, is what's going to help us in the long run. With the new pool, not only that, there's a new pool, not very far down the road, the Centennial Park pool that's just into Port Charlotte. So we've got 2 new facilities in the area that we didn't have before. This area has never had swim clubs before, and now we've got a club that's he's pretty strong at the Centennial Park pool, the Sea Dragons, under Coach Wally, and he's been building it up at the Northport Aquatic Center. So we're going to start getting those youth into the sport, before they hit the high school level, which should help us be a lot more competitive in years to come, and hopefully soon.
Fantastic. Any special athletes that you want to throw out there that have been active?
Yeah, well, we do have a few seniors graduating this year. Josh Power has been with us for a couple of years now. Madison Mong has been with us since a freshman. She started with us, no real swimming experience beforehand, and now she's 2 years will be the team captain. And then, of course, I got to mention Michael Kent. He's been swimming with us for 4 years since he was a freshman. But, he's been swimming probably since he was 6 years old, and that really is the key. He's gone to states every single year since his freshman year, took 3rd place and 5th place last year in his individual events. So it'll be really exciting to see what he does this year. Some real talent there.
So you look like you're pretty excited about getting the year started.
Yeah, I love the sport. Absolutely. We're really, we did do some summer trainings, or we call them clinics. It gets some of the new swimmers in the water, gets a feel for what they're doing, and get some of the experienced swimmers prepped up for the season. We are really excited about it. Again, we're hosting 4 meets this year. We've never done that many. I'm hoping we can actually pull them all off, and the weather doesn't get in the way. And I just want to see over this year and years to come, again, that community involvement is so important. We can start, we have the facilities now. We really just need to start that culture of more swimming in Northport. It's obviously, it's great fitness. It's a lifelong skill that's going to help keep you safe. It's excellent conditioning for other sports. But the thing is that the more years of experience you have in it, the more successful you're going to feel at the high school level. So if there's parents out there, go ahead. I was going to say, those parents out there, start getting them in the water young, man. That's the best thing they could do to help us out.
But now that we have the pool, that's going to help too.
Oh, well, that's huge. I mean, and not only that, but I mean, I'm seeing my swimmers now, they're lifeguards at the pool.
Yep.
I'm seeing those lifeguards, they're moving on and they're becoming medics. They're becoming firefighters. They're becoming active members of this community and really pushing it forward. And obviously the facility is hugely important, but look at all the jobs even that one facility has created for our high school students, and they're good jobs.
So when is your first meet?
Our first meet is Saturday, August 26th, and we will be hosting that meet. That'll be 9 a.m. Saturday, August 26th at the Northport.
And I'll tell you the same thing. Get me the information. If you've got a flyer out there you put together, we'll get that on the air. I'll put it on my radio pages and get it out. Our fans and friends allowed to come out and watch the
tournament? Absolutely. Yeah, we do charge $5 admission for meets. We got to pay for the pool. We don't own it, but we do have a very good contract with the city of Northport. They've been real friendly to us and made it so we can work it. So, but yeah, no, they can come out. It's racing, but you see some incredible athleticism out there, and you really see some excited kids. They really push each other on. They're a very positive team. There's no judging out there, and they really get out there. I mean, we probably have, I would say in the district, you're going to see more team spirit from us than anybody else. So
well, I think Sean just volunteered to be a announcer if you need an announcer.
Oh, we'd love to have him. And it's funny because I know that he's actually he's already familiar with the program that we use. We use the same program that the track team uses to run our meets. So anytime he wants to come out and help out, we'd really appreciate him. No doubt about it.
I popped him on the air. So Sean, now you're locked into swimming.
I love it. I swam the harbor swim last year. That was a mile and a half, but that took me forever. But I love swim events. I love to come out and do that.
Oh, I've
That
always
sounds cool.
wanted to do that. I've actually, I've never felt like I was really in shape to do that, but maybe next year.
But I love the kid. That'd be
Plus
awesome.
the sharks.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Well,
Thank
Sean,
you.
Sean, I'm going to let you introduce the next coach. But Paul, I really, really, really appreciate you being part of the show. And I look forward to getting some flyers from you and helping you get the word out about the tournament.
All right, John, we got a little treat here. We're going to try to get two coaches on either together or back to back. We're going to have our two coaches of the year. We have two this year, Hans Duque and Coach Fu. We always call him Coach Fu. I don't know what his real name is, but they work together for cross country, track and field. Coach Duque has the girls soccer team. They both are all-stars here, are famous coaches here. So
Awesome.
I appreciate putting them on. I'm announced for both of them too, off and on.
So, Hans and Coach Fu, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Well, and a little bit of a breakup with Sean, but you guys are coaches of the year, right?
Correct. Me for boys cross country and Hans for girls soccer.
And I think you're muted, Hans, just so you know. I'm going to try to unmute you on my side. Nope, you're muted on your side, Hans. Oh, there you go. So how are you doing, Hans? You able to hear me? He cannot hear me. Coach Fu, can you text him and just tell him to log out and log back in, and I'll bring him back on. But
No problem.
thank you, sir. So you've been part of the track and cross country for how many years now?
Just finished season 20.
Season, dude, I 20 years. Are you kidding me?
I'm probably the longest tenured head coach at Northport right now.
I didn't think it was 20 years.
It's 20 years.
Oh my gosh. So what's it feel like to be part of the program that truly you built and that you've seen grow and really, I have to say, maybe be this chest thumping moment for you?
It's something you're very proud of, especially year in and year out. You see these kids and they keep telling me, Coach, what are you going to do when we graduate? Saying how I'm losing a bunch of talent. And I tell them, I've been doing this for 20 years. That happens to me every year. So it's just something I get used to. But
well, in doing all the things that you do, how much time do you put in to sports at Northport? You personally, as coach, because I want to go there first with you.
I don't know if I can even count because I also do the assistant AD. Then both track and field and cross country. Track takes a lot more time. Meets are about 8 hours. Cross country is about 4. But I went on top of my head, wouldn't even know how many hours I put into sports, but it probably doesn't compare to Coach 2K. He coaches 3 sports.
Well, and I'm gonna Hans, how are you doing there, buddy?
Good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I appreciate it. And how does it feel to be a coach of the year?
It feels great. Of course, I have to say that, but I wouldn't be doing that or earn that if I never had people like Tony Miller and Coach Fu or Sorbino by my side, or the soccer coaches. It's not me. It's a lot of people. It takes a village.
Well, it does take a village, but it also takes a leader within the village. And I think we have a great core group of coaches over at the high school. We've always had the coaches that go the extra miles. 20 years for Coach Fu. That I'm in awe, because that means I've been here 20 years myself, and I didn't think 20 years was a long time, and I just realized that that's a third of my life. So because I'm turning magical 60 in August 1st. So 20 years. That's holy cow. That's a long time in a sport. But how long have you been coaching, Coach Hans?
I've been coaching for 8 years. I've always been on Northport High.
Always been.
Yes.
So which sports do you coach?
I coach soccer, track, and cross country, and then I coach at the club in the Fusion in the city as well.
So I want to talk a little bit about the soccer program, because we now have a good connection with the youth soccer programs in our city. Have you built strong relationships there?
Well, yeah, the same year I started with Northport High being a long-term sub, I started being the coach for a team back then. It was it's an 07, so it was like U8, U9 girls. It was co-ed actually back then. When I started with Coach Gerard Gregor, then he left. So the same core that is playing now Northport High, I have in them for 8 years now. So that's making a big difference, as I'm also being able to like lure them into cross, into track. So it's the same group of girls that is going all over the place, and that makes a big difference because you can count on them for anything.
Well, you've got all this stuff happening around you with these athletes. Coach Fu, how do you keep your athletes focused on grades and their target of success within your program?
Well, that's our number one thing. Obviously, as a coach, we have to push our sports and everything, but I think, speak for me and Hans, I think we really push great character, grades, and I tell the kids all the time, if some staff member comes up to me and says, "Hey, great job on that meet last week," yeah, that's a good feeling. But it doesn't happen when a staff member comes to me and goes, "Those are a good group of kids you have there." That trumps it. That's the best compliment I always get.
That's definitely one thing I learned from Fruit very early, and that yes, we are trying to give them a chance, right? Hopefully to earn a scholarship, but we're forming people here. That's the main thing.
You know, there's something to be said about having relationships with your coaches. I will say that my track coach from elementary school, Mr. Keg, has been a huge influence throughout, and I can't take away anything from Mr. Bauer, Mr. Rader, Mrs. Woods, all my teachers, but my track coach mentally prepared me by being supportive with grades, by being the person he was. I'm watching all the coaches, and I know you guys are building these same relationships. Coach Fu, 20 years. How many of your students have kind of come back and they find you, and you just, it doesn't seem like you missed a day where you just can talk to them and you feel like they're still here?
All the time. I just had the 4th of July Firecracker 5K, and I probably had like 6-7 alumni. Some I haven't talked to in a year just come and help and sit on the cart with me and just chit chat and talk, and it's such a good feeling.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hans, what do you think?
I've been shorter for a short time, but I also had some of them coming back. Like we got Daniel Gonzalez coming coaching for us for a couple of years. So it's great to see them back and actually give back a little bit. It comes from their heart, and so at that point, you succeeded as a coach.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big factor in this whole thing, is that the building of the relationship. A lot of them are going to take this on to other things, because a lot of these athletes that are in track and cross country, even soccer, there isn't another level. There may be the level of just participating in some road races and different things like that, like I did when I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Other student athletes are going to go on to accomplish bigger and better things within their sport. But that camaraderie that you build within the sport, that's a huge ordeal, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
And you're both are shaking your head, and it's fun to watch. I'm watching both of you guys because you're in the same sports, you're doing the same types of things, but according to Sean, and I already know both of I know Coach Fu, and I know what Coach Fu does at that school. So Sean says you both live there. Well, I didn't know too many coaches back in the day that didn't live there also. And I want to highlight this with you guys because being the most tenured, that stipend that you get for track and cross country and all these things that you do at the high school, you're just wallowing in the money based on your rate, right?
Absolutely not. You can ask any high school coach, and we don't do it for the money.
No.
We do it for just the love of the sports, trying to help kids improve. And the money is like a bonus, honestly. It's like at the end, I get a little bit of money for doing what I've been doing. But other than that, no, we don't do it for the money. And I guarantee you ask any coach on our campus, on any campus, if they're coaching high school sports around here, they're not doing it for the money.
Well, and I truly wanted to bring that into play because parents need to understand that too. You guys really are dedicated, and your staff, even some of your student athletes who are not part of the maybe the cross country team, but statistics, different things like that they're doing, the timers, that just all the volunteer students that you get and pick up along the way. The managers. A lot of those students are not even part of the field team. They are part of the team, but they're not part of the field team. They're more part of the coaching staff and learning that side of it. Do you treat them any different, or do you lock them in as like a student coach? And I'll go with Coach Moon first.
We didn't. A lot of things you just named off, like timers. We hire timers, so we don't time meets ourselves anymore. Volunteers, once in a while I get random students ask it. We host, I think me and Coach Duque host about 8 meets last year, so we always need help. But just by you saying that, what stuck out was I did have a team manager this year, and she couldn't run track because of her health problem, and I treated her just the same as everyone else. I gave her a uniform. I gave her a varsity letter because she didn't compete, she worked her butts out. She helped me out a lot just being team manager. So, yeah, anybody that steps on the field or track as part of our program, they are treated equal.
And that's an important part. And Hans, I see you shaking your head. You feel the same way?
Yes, and in soccer you see this a little bit more because you need ball people, you need stats and managers. We have managers for varsity and JV, and they're not treated differently. They have the training jersey, they have their letter, the pin, they have everything because they're part of the team, and it's hard work as well. It's not easy.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate both of you guys being part of the show. I'm going to bring Sean back on and get him involved. But having you guys on the show, that's a valuable part of the sports program, and I appreciate both of you guys. So thanks so much.
No problem.
All right. So Sean, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Hey, listen, both Coach Fu and Coach Duque, they had 2 athletes of the year come out of this program this year. We had 2 of our runners came out. They were in some sports. I forgot if it's track and field or cross country or long distance. I forgot they are. Have to get them online again. That's what they were.
Fantastic.
So he's our newest to the staff is Kimo O'Sullivan. He's going to be doing varsity baseball. He's not new to coaching, just new to us.
He's here for 1 year.
I got to announce
baseball for the first time ever. I was a little intimidated by doing it.
Hold on a second. So go ahead, Sean.
I've never done baseball announcing before, and I was a little nervous about doing it. And one of the baseball booster parents reached out to me, and the family was fantastic. All the baseball parents, Coach Sullivan as well. I can't wait to do it again next year.
Awesome.
Even though my wife said, okay, enough. I'm like, no, it's fun. So this is Coach O'Sullivan. He's our varsity boys baseball.
And I will tell you, your wife is probably watching right now and knowing that you just signed up for swim.
Maybe she might not have heard that part.
All right, I'll talk to you a little bit. So, Coach Kimo, how you doing there, buddy?
And this is excellent what you're doing right here. Saving the best for last one. That's a joke, by the way. And by the way, Sean's next to me. We're at the baseball field. Sean's next to me. He does this for free. Coaches, he does this for free, and he does it very well. He runs from sport to sport. Hint, hint, coaches. That's all.
Hint, hint.
Hi,
I
John.
like it. Listen, all these hints, those are awesome to have. I got Sean muted because you guys are close by to each other and it's like double echoing. So
Okay.
you're definitely on the visual side there, Sean. But tell us a little bit about baseball and what you got going on.
Okay, well, I coached in Pinellas County for quite a long time, and I stepped away from the game because I'm getting old, and I missed it. It's what I do. It's what I love. And I came down, Northport. I got a call from Tony Miller, and just to come for an interview. And honestly, I full disclosure, I was rolling my eyes. It was a good 40-minute drive. And I came down and there's a table full of, 10 coaches, administration, everything. That kind of opened my eyes. I had to kind of sit up and do my thing. And, it's a lot of moving, a lot of work running a program, but it's the best decision that I've made. Knock on wood.
Nice. So how many senior athletes do you have this year?
This year we're going to have, I'm going to have to count 1, 2, I'm going to say 5, 6. Last year we had 3. I'm going to say 5, 1, 2, roughly 5 or 6.
So you got 5 or 6. How many of those 5 or 6 came from the youth programs within Northport or surrounding area?
Most of them are most of these are Northport kids. That's the problem. I think Coach Belser was touching on that a bit. There's a lot of good, good kids in the Northport Little League programs. And then when they get to here, they just kind of go like this, unfortunately. And that's where we come in as a coaching staff. It's very challenging. One of the most challenging things is, around the county is, kids can just wake up and, I want to go to Venice today, or I want to go to Sarasota, next day. And it's very difficult as long as the parents, do the right things. There's, really little for us to stop that. And that's a challenge. But I do know that, there are ways to improve that. As Coach Belser says, and he's paying me $5 every time I use his name, just so you know. Coach Belser had said that, with these anyway, I'm babbling on. Go ahead and ask you.
Right. No, listen, I think you're talking like real sport here, because we've actually had some changes within the NCAA at the next level with football and different athletes now that are getting paid more money to go somewhere else and play. The way I looked at that was they were getting paid under the table before, but now it's kind of wide open. But sometimes just because you go to another school doesn't mean the grass is greener. Maybe you just need to learn how to work a little harder. And
you're not to interrupt you, John, but that's where, and as kids are not stupid, if they see, like I there's the baseball field out there. I actually sleep right out there. The kids see this. If you get a coach that, spends, hey guys, and they're an hour, that's the way they're going to, if you're only practicing for an hour, the kids aren't going to take it serious. But if your coach is serious and your coach is competitive and your coach is putting this, the kids will follow behind. And that's why I think collectively, as the other coaches were saying, collectively, there's a lot of coaches that are dedicated to their cause, and I'm interested to see not just baseball, but I'm interested to see what where all these other programs go, because I don't know, but from what I see, I'm interested. I think most, if not all, the programs are going to go they're going in the right direction, no question about it.
So with the current high school athlete that's out there, that you see, that I want to talk a little bit about the craft, okay? Because I think a lot of kids, they get kind of self-absorbed a lot of times that, hey, I'm this in Little League, I'm this in Little League, I'm just going to go to another level. Honing that craft and really, like,
John, first of all, that starts with the parents. The parents need to reel their big heads right in, and that's a problem as well. I'm sorry I interrupted you there, John.
No. Go for it.
They unfortunately, it starts with the parents. And, if the parents, they talk about dedication, loyalty, hard work. And I say to my parents all the time, I say, if you're questioning anything about this baseball program, I tell them I'm the best babysitter that you'll ever have. If you don't want your kid going to class every day, don't have them play baseball here. If they're they're going to learn how to work hard, not only in the classroom, but on the baseball field for certain. If you're not supportive of that, and I go on and on. But if you don't want me to, I will get emotional. I will get mad at your child, and I might go off there but that's because I'm genuinely concerned. And that's what I think, I think's missing. I mean, I'm very passionate, and I love doing this. I absolutely love. I'm sitting at the equator right here. Sean and I sitting here in 105-degree weather, but here is the baseball field, and I love being here. And I think that's an important element. So I'm babbling again, John. Keep going.
No, it's all right. It's all right. The whole thing is when you have passion. Every coach that's been on here has a huge amount of passion for their sport and truthfully for the school. And school pride and athletic pride, they at some point after 20 years, Coach Foos got this down with his program, the wrestling program. The baseball program has done extremely well in the past, and I'm sure we'll do great things in the future with you at the helm. Football's really working that, and that's really what it takes. It takes that whole, I think it takes the whole network of coaches to change a school image. And that's what's needed now. We've got 20 years under our belt as a high school in Northport, but I think it also comes to you mentioned families, you mentioned parents. I think it's the supporting cast of the community that also has to be part of this whole thing, and that includes the business structure of our community. I love the fact that you're passionate about this, and I love the fact that it's showing, because
that bad, huh?
Dude, at some point, people and athletes and parents need to understand what dedication goes into changing a program from a mediocre program to the next level.
Well, and two things, if I might, John. One, I think the administration here, and not trying to brown nose by any stretch, well, maybe a little, I think they're taking the coaches are sitting through seminars and they're trying to orchestrate. Tony's trying to orchestrate ideas and asking all the coaches all these things of what we can combine as a family, and that's a great thing, and I know Miss Fusco is supportive of, me. I mean, I go in there and bother her, and she laughs at me, but she's supportive and everything. That's a big thing. We had a game at DeSoto, and she's out there, and and a lot of principals, listen, this is my fourth school now, and a lot of principals don't do that. A lot of athletic directors just go through the motions. It starts right there. And I think they made a concerted effort of the first thing is getting some coaches that actually, care about their craft, using somebody else's words today. And I think it's the start of good things to come. No question about that.
Well, fantastic. Well, I have to get off the air, believe it or not. I'm going to pull Sean back on, but let me get off the radio here real quick. Hold on one second. This is John Rawlings with WKDW Radio saying thanks and listen in. I'll be back on Monday with another great show. I promise you, we've got some good stuff coming up. We've got the city manager of Northport who's on the 21st. It's going to be fantastic. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks and be safe. I'm going to stay live on Facebook for just a few more minutes. Coach Kimo, when's the first game, or are you guys already there?
We haven't got our spring schedule yet, but we'll be going as soon as I'm actually, running. I have 2 more Major League Baseball parks to hit, and I'm going to get in the car and go hit them. I've been to all of them except 2, and I'm going to hit that. And then when we come back, we start our spring schedule's not, coaches, we'll have that done by September. We usually start in the middle of February as our first games. But we have fall baseball leagues that'll be going until Christmas, and it's a year-round thing.
And I'm gonna bring Coach Fu back on here for a second because I know he's still sitting there. Coach Fu, Sean was mentioning a couple runners that you had, and they kind of crackled. Can you tell me a little bit about the runners that you had that got some awards that he was talking about?
Oh, for the boys' side, Evan Crane, who unfortunately is senior and graduated now, but he won cross country runner of the year. And then Malia Hambrick for the girls' side, who is only a freshman, won cross country and track and field. So she won 2 awards.
Fantastic.
Like I said, she's only a freshman. So Coach Duque will have her for another 3 years.
Well, I brought you back on because you stayed on throughout the whole show, and 20 years. I'm still dumbfounded by that, and I love the fact that you've been there 20 years. What does it mean to you to be part of the high school for 20 years?
Oh, it means a lot, and I don't know too many people know this, but I actually am a Venice graduate. And I have been somewhat recruited to go coach over there and tell them no all the time. I was like, I built this program. This is my puppy. I'm going to finish this out and watch it grow.
And, I really like Kimo. His passion. Yeah, his passion is like screaming. And I love it because I think that energy is truly needed. And I believe you've had that energy. You have that energy, but I remember, I hate to say this, but I remember 20 years ago. I remember the painting on the side of the building that you did for us. And we were trying to build that bond with the student athletes and get everybody involved. What I think is really cool is you brought 2 sports together. You brought some other athletes together. You brought some other sports together, and now you're an assistant athletic director, kind of connecting all the dots to all the sports. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I love sports. 100%. I will support every single coach out on our campus. Obviously I love cross country and track and field, but football is my number 1 sport, and nothing will make me happier to see the football team get wins. And I know, like track kids are like kind of complaining about football kids taking up some of their facilities sometimes, and I'm just like, these are kids that are doing the same thing you're doing. They're working hard. They're trying to get better. So, and we've learned to share space. And Coach Belser has done a great job with those kids too. And if I could have time to just tell a little story.
Sure.
When we had our field redone last year, and we had to use the practice field, and me and Coach 2K painted a track out on the grass, and that's where we practiced for 2022 season. And then football spring started, and we had kids bumping into each other out there, and a couple of their players were making fun of our, some of our skinny little runners and stuff, and just giving them a hard time. And I talked to Coach Belser. He took care of the problem, and then we're on the track this year, and I'm at the finish line. I see football coming out to the football field to practice, and I'm just like watching. All right, what's going on? What's going to happen? And all of a sudden, they just stop at the gate by the concession stand, and I was like, "What are they doing?" They notice runners coming, so they stop and let the runners pass, and then they come straight onto the field. They went around our high jump area, then to the field, so not to interrupt the high jumpers practice. And I was like, I actually went up to Coach Guerin and said, "You've done a hell of a job. Those are great kids." And like I said in my portion of my interview, that's my number one goal. I don't care about titles and championships. Honestly, I want them to do well, but at the end of the day, we have to make great men and women, and he's doing the right thing right now.
And I you know what? That has to mean a lot to you, but your tenure at that school, and for you to say something like that, just screams everything about why he's there. And that's really cool that you. I hope he watches this back, because I don't think he's watching right now. I think he's out doing his thing, but that was, Coach. That was cool. I thank you for saying that, because pride starts with the coaching staff, and you just showed a lot of pride by giving it to a new coach and supporting him. So I liked you before. You just went off the charts, and because I had that much pride in you the whole time I've known you. I've had that kind of pride in you, and I don't think my heart could get any bigger for you right now, because you're going to be that coach that was my Phil Kegg, Mr. Kegg. I told this story before, but I was sitting down at the courthouse in Columbus, Ohio, and back in the day, I was sitting in a phone booth, and we had these wooden glass doors, and you could see feet. You couldn't see anything else. And I saw a pair of tennis shoes walk by, and I looked down, and I'm like, that's got to be Coach Kegg. Nobody walks like Coach Kegg. That's got to be Coach Kegg. So I hurried up out of the phone booth, and I ran out. He was in the courtyard, and I yelled across the courtyard. I said, "Hey, Mr. Kegg," and he turned around. And I got to tell you, I still get chills telling the story. You're that guy. You're that guy for those kids. That's and the coaches. I wrote papers about Mr. Kegg in college. And I wrote papers, and I got to tell him he was part of my papers in college. And I hate to say this, but I was pretty much in my late 30s when I got to do that. And I never thought that those opportunities would happen. But dude, you're the reason that Northport is going to be stabilized. You, Coach Miller, Tony, you guys have been there a long time. We could share these stories back and forth, I'm sure, but your stories aren't even there yet. You should start writing them down. You need to get a book started. So I appreciate you coming back on though, bro. I really
No
do.
problem.
All
No
right, buddy.
problem. And
All
I'll
right.
come on again before our invite. Our invite is the largest cross country meet held on high school campus in the state of Florida. And last year we had 86 schools. And it quite possibly could be the biggest sporting event in Northport because we have over 2,000 athletes participating.
What's the date of that?
September 22nd.
September 22nd. You need to get me information on that. I definitely wanted to see that.
And Sean helps out too, so Sean will actually know a lot of information.
I got to tell you this, Garen, he's still watching. He said he greatly appreciated that from Coach Fu in private message. So he is listening. So that's awesome. I'm glad Garen heard that because Garen's going to turn that program around.
Oh, 100%.
And he's going to do that because he's got fire in his belly like you did. So I'm going to say thank you, and please get me that information. We'll have you on independently if you want to do something like that. When that goes about a month out, let me know ahead of time. We'll get you on the show, and we'll push that out real hard and heavy. But that needs to be something we talk about as probably one of the biggest events that we have at the high school as far as involvement. So I'd love to do that show.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, let me tell you something. I have been the lead cart for Coach Fu's 5Ks for about 12 years now. And that 80 school thing just keeps piling up and piling up. It's amazing. I get to see all the runners coming out. We do like 4 or 6 heats. I'm in front of all of them, leading them around. It's really amazing. It's about 3 hours of just young people running, and always a positive comment from all the visiting coaches. Never heard a negative thing about it. He does a great job on that program.
You know what? There's I'm glad you put this thing together, Sean. This
you did. Not me.
Say that again.
You did it, not me.
Oh no. This doesn't work if you didn't do the legwork on the backside. I got the fun part of interviewing everybody, but it means a lot to me because I tout Northport athletics just as much as every one of those coaches. I know I do, and I love the city. I love what we stand for as a city, and that's kind of why I do these shows, is really trying to highlight what we've got here in Northport and the surrounding areas and why it's so special. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, listen, make sure everybody goes to Northport High School's website. The athletic director is Tony Miller. Just give them a call, go on the line. They'll have all the schedules. They've already got the fall sports, and the winter sports are about to come out as well. So swimming, volleyball, golf, football, and I don't know about wrestling. They have their schedules ready to go. They start in August, so we'd love to have everybody come out and support us. Love to meet him. Come Academy up with the microphone.
And really get out there and support all athletics at the high school.
Right. And then I want to thank WKDW 97.5 FM, Real Talk with John Rawling. Well, thank you for doing this for us today. We appreciate it. Don't forget, July 29th, we got the blood drive, the Kurt Allen Memorial Scholarship Fund basketball tournament starting around 4 o'clock. The blood drive at 2 o'clock. So we'd love to have you out there.
And next week's show, we've got Teddy D's next Friday. We're going to talk about the Kurt Allen fundraiser that's going on, and really just give a good overview of some past athletes who are coming back to really help out Northport and move things forward there. So I'm really looking forward to next.
That's all students doing that.
Yep,
that's what's so cool about it.
Yep.
Yeah. John,
so I look
so much.
So thank you so much for your time. You're a little delayed, but I appreciate you so much for helping out today. And let's start doing this every quarter. So plan this out. Let's get this information out, and let's have some fun with these coaches and maybe throw a few athletes in.
Thank you, sir. Take care now.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. thanks for listening to the show today, and really show some love to the athletes and the coaches at the high school. I hope you like this. Please share this video. The more you share the video, the more the information gets out. And great things happen when you show up at a ball field, swim meet, track meet. Listen, we've got great athletes and really we've had great wrestlers throughout our history, great baseball players. So let's get out there, show the city support. City does a great job with the youth athletics here in town, and be part of the Northport High School athletics program. If you haven't sponsored anything, get out there and sponsor a team, throw a sign up on the fence, do something to help each other out. Listen, that they're doing great things there, and the coaches are working their butts off. So support them, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And next week, Teddy D's will be here talking about basketball. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.